her to consider my idea. What I'd do is I'd present my idea slightly to the left or slightly to the right of her. You young lady, your name is? Say again, Mark? Barb. So if I wanted Barb to consider my idea, what I'd do is I'd preface my ask with the words, I'm not sure if it's for you. If I preface an ask with the words, I'm not sure if it's for you, Barb's little inside voice starts to do something. Her little inside voice says, well, I'll be the judge of that. Also, curiosity is piqued, right? Barb wants to know, well, what is it? What is it? I've got to be able to find out this thing. But you see, in this example, I've got a three-letter word on it. It's a three-letter word that really requires huge consideration. See, people think the word but simply negates what was said prior to. And I don't know whether it was Peter Parker or Uncle Ben that first said it, but they said with great power
comes great
responsibility. Same is true with how we use this word but. It doesn't necessarily just negate what was said prior, it actually shifts the focus to next. So if I'm here speaking to Barb and I've got an idea I'd like her to consider, I might say, hey Barb, I'm not sure if it's for you, but many of our friends in a similar situation to you have found huge benefit with blank. What is she likely to say? Tell me some more about that. How many of you are pretty darn good when somebody in your life says, tell me some more about that? So you think you're not good at going on first dates, you're just not so good at asking to go on first dates. That's the trouble. See, once you get there, you got this thing down pat, right? You just got to get to the date. Could it be quite easy to say, look, I'm not sure if it's for you, but I'm hosting a get-together with another group of amazing women later in the week, and I thought you might benefit from meeting some of them.
Yes.
Right? They say, what is it? Tell me some more about that. And you know, what means you've asked. These are the details, these are the dates, these are the times. Come on down. This is easy to do, yes?
Yes.
Easy not to do?
Yes.
Hey, I'm not sure if it's for you, but I've got a couple of ideas of how you might be able to make an extra few $100 by pouring in an extra few hours a week. Well, what do you mean? What do you got in mind? Tell me some more about that.
Yes.
Well, being as you've asked, what would you rather be, pushy or bully?
Bully.
Are you seeing how easy this can be to be bullying and not pushing? I'm trying to show you that this is easy to do. It doesn't mean that you're going to do it easily. I'm going to share another piece of basic brain science that can help you maybe invite more people to take action. Who in this room sees themselves as open-minded? Take a look around, that's somewhere like everybody. I'm pretty sure the other hands wouldn't raise to the sky regardless of what I offered. It could be cash, cookies, or cake, right? They're not coming. I mean, who are the people that never raise their hands when asked to raise their hands? Come on, up. We know the fact, and the fact is this: the whole world likes to see themselves as open-minded. I repeat, they like to see themselves as open-minded. It doesn't mean they are, it just means they like to see themselves as open-minded. Given that people like to see themselves as open-minded, we can take that and apply it towards a principle in communications, and that principle in communication is the person who's asking the questions controls the conversation. So we take the fact, we apply it to the principle, we've now got another inviting formula, which is simply by asking somebody the question, how open-minded would they be? And watch how you move from 50-50 to 90-10. I mean, how open-minded would you be to learning some more about how some healthcare and supplement products can make a big difference to you in your life and your energy levels? I mean, would you be open-minded to just meeting another group of fantastic young entrepreneurs that are doing some really interesting things locally? I mean, how open-minded would you be to doing that on Thursday? I mean, anybody here open-minded to support the great, charitable work that was being talked about prior to me coming out? I mean, how open-minded would you be to find the QR code and get clicked on it today and start to be able to supplement it? I mean, how open-minded would some of you be to at least running a marathon at some point in your life? Let's make this really simple. How open-minded would you be to use the words, how open-minded are you more often? Easy to do? Very easy to do. Also easy not to do, correct? Who would like to know the secret to influence? How you could get just about anybody to do just about anything. And you promise me, like Pinky promise, that you're going to use this to grow your Juice Plus business? You're not going to use it in any other areas of your life? Secret to influence lies in our understanding of this one word up here on screen. One of the most overused words in the world of business is this word. The reason it's overused is because too few people understand what the word really means. When you understand its etymology, you understand its meaning, you start to be able to unlock its power. The word is created from the forcing together of two words. There's a split. First part of the word comes from the Latin word motivus. Modern day translation is the word motive. The Asian part of the word comes from the word that we know as action. So these are the two words that live inside that word motivation. If somebody had a motive, it would mean they had a what? What's another word for a motive? If they had a motive, they had a... That'll do, we'll take reason. And if they were to take action, it would mean they're going to move, or it would mean they're going to do something, yes? So all that is meant by the word motivation is to find their reason to move. That is the secret to influence, is merely to unlock and find their reason to move. That sounds pretty easy though, correct? Do you know there are only 3 reasons anybody will move to do anything? You knew that? No? Dang, you folks are making me work. Okay, 3 reasons anybody would move to do anything. 1 is to run towards something that would make them more comfortable. If they're not running towards something that's making them more comfortable, they are running from something that's making them uncomfortable. That's number 2. So towards to become more comfortable, away from what's making them uncomfortable, or to move for selfish reasons for things that light them up inside. That's the 3. Just attitude. Do people move to become more comfortable, yes or no? Yes, they do. Do people move when they're uncomfortable, yes or no? Yes, they do. Do people move to do things for selfish reasons that matter for them and only them? Yes, they do. Interestingly, some of the people some of the time will move to become more comfortable. More of the people more of the time will move when they're uncomfortable. All of the people all of the time will move to do things that matter for them and only them. Your job is to be able to build a cocktail out of these ingredients when influencing others. I'm going to try and make this simple for you with a little exercise. I asked the team if they can give me a high-tech prop to prove something, and here we are. Here we are. This is not a conference room chair. This conference chair is actually a seat in your home. It's not any seat in your home, it's a particularly important seat. I'd love you to imagine a scenario. The scenario is this, is you've been away from home at a conference for a few days. You've stayed out later, you've drunk a little more, you're a little more exhausted than you normally would be, and you're finally on your way home back to your house. You head back towards your house, you're stepping through the front door and you're still wearing the clothes that you traveled on. Your bags are alongside you. You step in your house and you see this chair. It's not any chair, this is your comfy chair, and the reason I know it's your comfy chair is because it has a perfect butt-shaped imprint in it that you've been working on for quite some time. As you step into the house, you're the most decisive you've been in a very long time. You step into the house, you look to the chair and you say, I am going to sit on you. And there is literally no holding back on this. You're like, woof. Then you start thinking. You start to think to yourself, you know what? If I went and got changed, man, I would be so much more comfortable. I would. That'd be nice. I'd like that. I mean, if I took a shower, that would be incredible. Love that too. I mean, how about a layout this way? Woo-hoo! That'd be a game changer. But you know what? This right here, this is fine. True or true? What is it that gets you off the couch?
Food.
You see all the things that you're thinking of right now? Those are all true. Every single one of those things is true. Your job when influencing others is to get them off the couch. How many times you've had a conversation with somebody about the business opportunity here and they're like, I know, that sounds amazing. I'd love that. No doubt in my mind, that's exactly what I should be looking for. I could do that. We should do that. That's going to make all of the differences. And then they're like, yeah, but we are kind of fine as we are. True? Understand that your job description is to get people off the couch. You've got 3 tools to get them off there. It's help them become more comfortable. That's probably not going to get them to move. Help them realize that if they don't, they could potentially become uncomfortable. Also, understand what drives the fire inside them and help them understand that with your products, your help, your support, your solutions, you can help them get a strong step closer to that more than any other idea in the world. Is this making sense?
Yes.
Sometimes, though, you're finding yourself like, I get it, Phil. Yeah, but how? Yeah, but how? How do I do that? Because I like the idea in theory, but how do I do it in practice? And you do it with word choices. You do it with word choices. Did you know that every decision that every human being has ever made has been made at least twice? Every decision every human being has ever made has been made at least twice. We first make decisions hypothetically in our mind's eye. You have to see yourself doing something before you choose to do it. If you cannot see yourself taking an action, the likelihood of you choosing to do it in real life is slim to none. Therefore, if I can get somebody to see themselves taking an action before I invite them to take an action, the likelihood of them doing it is significantly higher. Let's keep building on this brain science. In order to make decisions, we have a key point of reference. That key point of reference is called our memory. Our memory is like the world's biggest Instagram account. There are a gazillion photographs up here living around. And those photographs are used to inform any future decisions. If you're asking yourself to make a decision today, you dig into the photographs and see if any of these photographs will help inform what I'm being asked to do today. The kind of interesting question, though, about these photographs that live up here is how many of your memories actually happened to you? Mm-hmm. It's an awkward question because the true answer is not necessarily all of them. Your memories became memories for one of two reasons. It was either an experience that you lived through or an experience that was shared with you, typically in the form of a story. Stories paint pictures. A story will always sell, whereas a fact will only tell. Why? Because stories fire up our imagination and allow us to create new images. There is one more piece of science to understand before I'm going to unveil what it is that you might be able to use. And there's a period of our life that we learn quicker than any other period of time in our life. Scientists cannot agree on date range, but they all agree it's when we are children. As children, our growth trajectory is greater than any other period of time. Our method of learning, experiences that we live through, or experiences that were shared with us, typically in the form of a story. I'm going to try and pull all this together for you. The secret to influence is to find their reason to move. There are only 3 reasons that anybody will move to do anything. They're going to look to run towards something, run away from something, do something that lights them up inside. When it comes to making decisions, we first make decisions hypothetically in our mind's eye. Have to see ourselves doing something before we choose to do it. Also, when it comes to making decisions, our key point of reference is our memory. Our memory is a gazillion photographs. Those photographs got there from experiences we lived through or experiences that were shared with us, typically in the form of a story. A story will always sell, whereas a fact will only tell. We catching this? And we learned quickest when we were kids. How did a child know a story was coming? What were the magic words?
Once upon a time?
Once upon a time. You say the words once upon a time to a child kicks back, opens up the Instagram account and says, gimme, 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 this is gonna be good. You cannot use the words once upon a time with a client, a teammate, or a prospect and get the same results. You can, though, use the grown-up version of the exact same sequence of words, which are the words just imagine. What kind of things do we then put behind the pictures that we help people create? We show them photographs of what we know they might want to run towards to make them more comfortable. We show them photographs of things that we know with the emotional intelligence that we've collected that they might want to run away from that could make them uncomfortable. And we show them photographs of things that could make their heart sing a little. See, just imagine us working together 12 months that you managed to be able to build some incremental revenue alongside your existing job. That means for the first time ever you can take you and your family on a vacation without having to worry about paying other bills in its place. Just imagine that was true. Hey, just imagine that you don't address these health concerns and that you continue to just cross your fingers and think that they're going to get better all by themselves, and the impact that that could have on you and on the people that you care about most in the world. Hey, just imagine what your kids are going to think about you a decade on from now when they see you put time, work, effort, and energy into something that's bigger than yourself, to be able to build something that's bigger than yourself, to leave a legacy that provides options and choices for them that never existed for you. All because you didn't give your time to Netflix and social media, you gave it to helping other people overcome some of their health challenges and introduce them to products and solutions and services that they wouldn't have had otherwise. Just imagine the story they're going to go on and tell about Mama. Now here I am making up these examples for you on the spot. When is the worst time to think about the thing you're going to say? It's right in the moment you're saying. Do you know enough about the people you're looking to influence to know something they might want to run towards? Something they might want to run away from? Something that could help light them up inside? Do you know something that you could write in this example that would serve you better than what I just wrote here? Hey, help me out here as I've been pouring my energy into this for the last 40 minutes or so. Has this been helpful so far, yes or no? Thank you. Because my goal right here is to finish as strong as we possibly can. And what you should be realizing is we're talking about the power of questions. Why are questions so important is because questions create conversations. Conversations lead to relationships. Relationships create opportunities. And from opportunities, you can drive sales. There isn't a business in the land that has never said to me, Phil, if we could just create more opportunities, we could definitely make more sales. If you could help us create more opportunities, we could definitely create more sales. Help me understand how to create more opportunities and we'll drive sales. Do you know what I say to those people? I say, who are the people you need to be asking more questions of? What are the conversations you need to be having that you're not? Where do you have relationships that hold untapped opportunities? And where have you already created opportunities that require you to show up and drive the next action? Those 4 questions can almost always drive a pretty powerful to-do list. Instead, what we do is we say things like, just call 100 strangers. That'll be fun. You'll love that. No, start with your friends, because that's safest. You know, all the people that knew you, like as 2 weeks ago, that you worked in a retail store selling fashion, and this week you're an expert on health and nutrition. Just start with them, because they'll support you most. What kind of difference would it make if we stopped counting conversations and started making more of our conversations count? What kind of difference would it make if you could just slow people down and say, who are the people you need to be asking more questions of? Oh, I can do that. I haven't spoke to Sandra for a while. I could be asking questions about how happy she is, what she has going on, what's happening in her life. I could do that. What are the conversations you need to be having that you're not? Oh, dang, there's a giant list of those too, right? And I'm fully empowered. I know how to do that. Where do I have relationships that hold untapped opportunities? Dang, I've got so many of them, I don't know where to start. Where have I already done the work to create opportunities that require me to show up and drive the next action? Is this easy? Yes. Those of you that lead teams, if you sat down slowly and asked everybody those 4 questions and helped them form a meaningful to-do list of people to speak to, how would they feel about the confidence that they could apply towards the 7 days ahead to allow them to be able to help more people at a greater scale? We become so practical and so system-driven that we forget that this is a human-to-human business. And if you do the basics to a high standard consistently, you can raise the bar beyond what anybody would say is possible. I'm going to prove just how bad we are at questions. Are we good with this? To just prove how bad we are as a whole society at questions. I'm going to ask you questions you've been asked before. Let's see how good we respond. The people I look to pick on are the ones that avoid eye contact. So here's what I'm going to do. Like, hey, how are you? See what I did is I asked a question that I've been asking somebody on many occasions before. You've all been asked that question before. Your name, young lady, is? Your name? Lena. I asked Lena, hey, how are you? Her little voice says, I know this one! And she gave me straight to level 2 answer, because she's a professional. Straight to level 2. She said, I'm good, thank you. Hey, how are you? You know what's interesting? Do you know how I am, given that she's good? How am I? Isn't it funny that you're always the same as the other person? What happens to our conversation from here, though? I say I'm good. We did so well, Lena. Right, we're done. That was it. That was it. That was the whole conversation. I see people in leadership roles running through the office. Hey, how you doing? Good weekend? Yeah, good weekend. How are you? Yeah, weekend was good. Hey, how are you doing? Yeah, I'm doing great. I'm doing awesome too. We are so efficient with language. We fail to be effective. Because all we do is go boom, boom. Young lady, your name is? Michelle. Hey, how are you? That's all we got, right? That's all we got. We got nothing else. We got no more place. Great. How are you? Yeah, I'm great. See, if you did that, then all you're going to do is ask for a free therapy session from someone and they're going to be like, this is the... We don't tell people the truth, but we want to build relationships based on trust. The math is off the charts, right? I'm going to show you something else we do. Young lady, your name is? Kim, can you tell me about the last place you went on your vacation? You went to Tennessee. Man, I love Tennessee. I get to spend some time in Tennessee. I was there for my honeymoon, or like my kind of like semi-honeymoon. It was after I was there with my wife and kids. My best friend, my best man for my wedding lives in Bowling Green, so we went to Nashville, Tennessee to be able to play out as the two couples after my wedding. But I'm in Nashville a ton right now because it's become a big conference center. I don't know if you know, but they have a lot more events in Nashville than they ever used to have in Nashville. And I'm there as a professional speaker. I'm not sure if I told you, but I've written 11 best-selling books. I've spoken on 6 different continents. I travel all around the world. I'm not sure if I've told you how freaking awesome I am. How often does that happen? A version of that, right? You wouldn't believe what happens in my life, right? Because I show up here in America and they're like, "You've got an accent." I'm like, "I know." And then what they do is they spend 15 minutes telling me their England story that I couldn't give two hoots about. Because what they're doing is like, I've always wanted to go to England, and my friend almost went to England once, and we kind of have been following the crown. And when they went, I wasn't sure where they went specifically. I think it was London, or it was somewhere near London. Do you know where in London they might have been? And like, because if I was to go, I definitely want to do the. And I'm like, shoot me now. Who is the most interesting person in your life? Who is the most interesting person in somebody else's life? Can we try this again? Can you tell me about the last place you went on your vacation? Pigeon Forest, Tennessee. Wow. Wow. Went to Dollywood? Never been. What made it so amazing? Oh, really? Okay. I can only but imagine. Do you see one with 27 people? 27. 27! Wow, who were the 27? Yeah? Okay. And what made you pick Tennessee? Right? Okay. Super. Wow. See, we could keep this going for the remaining 10-15 minutes of my speech, right? We could be here there forever. But this is just me and Kimberly in a casual, normal conversation with 3,500 people listening in, right? Like all this was. And if this was Kimberly and I, maybe waiting for a plane, waiting for a train, catching up in a bar, how long could that conversation be running for? Could have gone a long, long time. How many questions did I prepare? Just one. Where did the rest of my questions come from? Her answers. Which meant I had to do what? The most underrated skill in our profession is our ability to be able to listen. Let's just take a look at the word together, Kimberly. Let's look at the word up on screen for a second. Look, it has an L, an I, an S, a T, an E, and an N in it. Here's another word. It has an L, an I, an S, a T, an E, and an N in it.
Wow.
Coincidence? Well, of course it is. Just makes a heck of a point though, right? Makes a heck of a point. I wonder how many times you've talked yourself out of business. You've become a sales prevention officer. That you've stood in the way of your success from over-communicating at a point that what you could have done is just zip the heck up and somebody would have kept going into what it was you wanted them to be able to do. True or true? True, right? It's definitely true. Questions create conversations that lead to relationships, creates opportunities. That's what drives sales. Would anybody like any specific questions that could help other people to actively talk about themselves with more confidence? These are very specific questions. Some of them are difficult to spell. They're questions like, Wow. Really? Because what do those words say? I'm listening. And what else do they say? Keep going. Keep going. Tell me more. I like this. Who in this room has seen the movie Shrek? In the movie Shrek, Shrek says ogres are like Because they have
Layers.
people be the same. We have layers too. When we live in a world where we're so fast-paced with language, we're so efficient with conversation, we fail to be effective. We don't get past 2 more layers on anybody before we're starting to tell them we've got the answer to the problem we don't yet understand. If you're in the business of helping other people, please learn to understand their problem before you present them with a solution. I'm begging you. Don't assume you know the problem. Do the work to know that you understand the problem. Because if you can show somebody you understand the problem that exists in their life, they'll trust you with the solution. You try to sell somebody on your solution, they'll say that's not the problem. There's so much more work to do, but perhaps one of the biggest parts of our work to do, particularly in an industry when you are so challenged by other competitors and other offerings, and it's a noisy world out there, right, for your consumers, is a big part of our job is to give people enough information to make a decision. There's one word up there, though, that I think is worthy of the most attention. Which one do you think it is? Enough. Who in this room has given people too much information? How much information is enough? Depends, right? Depends, it depends. Perhaps put best by my hugest mentor in my entire life. My late grandma, my nana. My nan once said to me, she said, Phil, if everybody thought in the exact same way, then wouldn't the whole world like to marry your granddad? We think, act, and want things in slightly different ways. But I tell you one thing people have to know if they're going to make a buying decision. What do they need to have to know if they're making a buying decision?
Price.
Information is worth it, and to know it's worth it, they need to know what?
Benefits.
They don't know how much. How much is it? I see people in this industry, they say things like I'll send it to you in an email. And then there are others that say we can do all of that for you for just $249. Is $2,000 expensive, yes or no? Depends on what it's being compared to. Is a Bugatti Veyron expensive? Not compared to a Gulfstream. If I have the word price written in my right hand and the word value written in my left hand, and price comes out ahead of value, which one looks bigger?
Price.
If I get the value out there ahead of the price, which one looks bigger now? Show of hands in the room, who spent more money on something than they thought they would? And we think budgets are real? We all blow straight through them when we want something, correct? But talking about what we are selling with a level of poise and elegance helps somebody understand its value. As we bring this towards a close here today, I do want to be able to just run a quick exercise. Young lady, your name is? Brenda, can I borrow your pen? She said her name's Brenda and her name tag says Rosie. This is blowing my mind. This is Brenda, and this is Brenda's pen. I want you to imagine that Brenda's pen is just thrown on a table at a yard sale. How much is the pen? Not much, free, nada. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Brenda's exact same pen. Only this time I'm going to place it in a stand. It's an acrylic stand and it's beautifully merchandised around it with the right number of pens in the compartment. And in the adjacent compartments are other pens from the same manufacturer in different colorways. Manufacturer's name is across the top of the stand, and the stand sits on the counter of a mid-price department store like a Macy's in the stationery department. How much is the pen?
$5.
It's the same pen! Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take Brenda's pen, the exact same pen, only this time, Brenda, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay it down on its side. And I'm going to place it in a box. And the box is made of mahogany. And the mahogany box is velvet lined. So I have a pen in a mahogany box that's velvet lined. This too sits in a cabinet. Cabinet is made of glass. Glass cabinet is spot lit. This too sits in a department store, not just in any department store, it's a department store in London. It's not anywhere in London, it's in Knightsbridge. The store in question is called Harrods. So Brenda, what we have is we have a pen in a mahogany box. Box is velvet lined, sits in a department store, not just anywhere, it's in London. So we got a pen in a mahogany box, velvet lined, sits in the cabinet, cabinet's made of glass, glass cabinet, spot lit, sits in a department store, not just any department store's in London, it's in Knightsbridge. Story in question is called Harrods. And to get to the pen, I need to speak to a member of staff. Member of staff is wearing a black tuxedo, has white gloves on, and his name is Pierre. How much is the pen? It is the exact same pen. What is the difference in those three examples?
Presentation.
What is the difference in those three examples? You see, all the things that you are thinking of right now, they're all true. The thing is never worth the money. It's the things that go with the thing that make it worth the money. So the better you get at articulating the things that go with your thing, the more value people will see in your thing. Got it? Brenda, I think somebody said that this is a £1,250 pen. Please do not lose it. Please do not lose it. Right, we've got to wrap this show up. We're going to be able to bring this thing home. What do we do to be able to bring us home? We've probably got like next to no time up here on this clock. So let's finish ourselves up here today. And if we're wondering where we want to finish strong, just note that sometimes all you need to do is to swap a couple of words around. There are words that are costing you, there are words that are hurting you. Everything that leaves your mouth is helping or hurting. Nothing is neutral. If it's neutral, it was a waste. Everything that leaves your mouth, your pen, your keyboard is helping or hurting. Nothing is neutral. If it's neutral, it's a waste. Your words are your tools. Your words are your craft. How you communicate with others is the differentiating factor between you and somebody like you. You are competing in the hardest, most competitive industry that there has ever existed. In this day, as we stand here in 2024, it's never, ever, ever been harder to do what you do than today. You know that? It'll also never be easier. It will never be easier than it is today either. Because it's going to get more competitive tomorrow, and more competitive the day after that, and more competitive the day after that. So when is the time to grow? Right now. Right now. So let's finish with something fun and something playful. Maybe another sequence of words that you can use to be a little more confident and demanding about what you're inviting somebody to do. Have you ever found yourself wanting to tell somebody what to do? Without them feeling like they're being told what to do, because you know they want to know what to do without feeling pushed or pressured. But people don't like to feel pushed or pressured, but they do like to be led, correct? Touch of a riddle going on here, correct? Let's borrow another piece of basic psychology, that human beings are a lot like sheep. By which I mean that we're very happy to follow a crowd. Safety in numbers is for real. That's why you will always believe 37 strangers on a Yelp review more than any recommendation from your mother-in-law. We love safety in numbers. We also want to tell people what to do without them feeling like they're being told what to do, because we know they want to know what to do without feeling pushed or pressured. We just simply want to lead them. So next time you want to tell somebody what to do without them feeling like they're being told what to do, simply share with them, here is what most people would do. And when you say to somebody, here is what most people would do in your circumstances, their little voice kicks up in their head and says, aha, I am most people. So that is what I'm going to choose to do, all by myself, and there is nothing you can do to stop me. And I know what at least 25 of you in this room right now are thinking. You are thinking there is no way on earth that that would work on me. Because I am not most people. So here's what I say to you, all 25 of you. Please don't be like most people. You're welcome. All joking aside though, what most people will be thinking at this point is, what should you remember? I keep it simple. Remember, the worst time to think about the thing you're going to say is in the moment you're saying it. Never forget that curiosity is the fuel to great conversation. Always be sure that people do things for their reasons and not yours. And it's the person that's asking the questions that controls the conversation. If you're wondering what type of questions to ask, you should start curious until you demonstrate empathy, and then have the courage to invite people to take action. Because curious questions earn you context, empathetic questions make you relatable, courageous questions drive change. Ladies and gents, I've been Phil Jones. This has been a privilege, it's been an honor. I wish you all the success in the world that you're prepared to work for.